Can you hear me?
No, I can't hear you.
Try again. Can you hear me now? Welcome to What Do You Bring to the Table?
Back in college, I took an acting course with a teacher named Mark Lewis. That class changed my life in many ways. It was more than an exploration of acting. It was an exploration of self, of being human. There was this exercise from his Acting 1 class that I remember called, Do You Hear Me? It worked like this. One actor would deliver a line from a scene we were working on, then pause and ask, Do you hear me? Your scene partner would pause and respond with either, Yes, I hear you, or No, I don't hear you. And if it was a no, you listened and then tried again. Same line, same partner, same work. The point wasn't volume, it was connection. Did it resonate? That exercise has stayed with me because at its core, it wasn't just about acting. It was about being human. Humans connecting with other humans. Being present to their work, their lives. And that's the heart of this podcast.
Every episode, we sit down with someone. Through 4 simple questions about life, values, quirks, and passions, we really listen. We're not just listening for the words, but for the story underneath and around them. The values they reveal, the spark that makes each person who they are.
So whether you're a host stepping into this space, a guest, or a listener pulling up a chair, the invitation is the same. Lean in, listen deeply, and discover together,
What do you bring to the table?
Whoa, what do you bring to the table?
I'm here with Jenn this morning, and my introduction to Jenn, I had to weed through some things here because we have actually known each other for a long time.
A few years.
And we've got lots of interesting things to talk about today. This is my quick flyover view. Jenn is a formerly mad scientist, had worked with a national waste management company, has a lot of interesting stories from those days and the kinds of things they processed. A STEM teacher, and a potato scientist, a speech aficionado. Good. Both as a performer and coach. I've known her in both capacity. I know her team in recent years has been a lot of fun to kind of track. Knowing them and then knowing what they're doing with you and then seeing their success via what they're doing with you and Tyler is really cool. Also camp counselor at one point and a lover of Spree's candies. Those are things I thought might be important to mention. I don't know if any of those are still true. You can talk through and see what did I get right, what did I get wrong.
I do think it has been decades since I've had a Spree's candy.
Yeah.
But at one time I did very much enjoy them. Mostly the dyes look on the outside of the Spree's candy and how you could stain other people's faces with them on long road
Doubles
trips.
as makeup.
For sure.
I think you introduced them to me. And so every time I see a Spree's candy anywhere in the world, I think of Jenn Dillinger and
a double for
the
lipstick
fun that we had.
in the back of a van.
Right. But that goes back to almost speech days, maybe even before.
Yep. I think maybe those were state fair trips. I don't know. That was a really long time ago.
Yeah, that sounds right. That's the thing here. Okay, well, we have 4 questions to work our way through today. And I'm going to just jump in.
All right, let's do it. I think that was a really random list of things that I've done. I like it. Makes
And
me
then does it make you feel like you still know me?
Yeah, it's true.
Great. Okay, we're going to start with our background question in our category. So you can take a second and think about it if you need to, but what is something that you're excited about in this season of your life? Any domain. It can be silly. It can be deep and spiritual. It can be whatever comes to mind. And this is not like, you do not have to have the best answer forever. This is just a snapshot in this moment in time. So
all right.
Something you're excited about in this season of your life.
I'm excited about. I think I am excited about getting older, which I don't know that a lot of people would say that, but there is a clarity that comes with not being young any longer.
Your face is looking a little uncertain too. There's two things.
Well,
that
I
you're
will
holding
say
at
that
the
I
same
am very irritated that my hip hurts if I sleep too
Sure.
long.
Yeah.
There are negatives too that come along with it, but I think have you noticed that you don't care about things anymore? There are things you really don't care about that maybe you used to.
And it feels good.
Yeah, it feels so good that like things you used to worry about don't matter. And you recognize things that you very much want to laser focus on.
Yeah.
And really focus in on the things that matter in your life.
Yes.
And be able to start to prioritize much better than when you were younger and trying to do everything and be everything and really worry about what people thought about you. It is so much better.
It is
to
better.
like get old and not care. At all.
And I don't know if part of that, that look on your face of like, I don't like the hip thing is, but
that's not fun.
It is really fun to know and to have that clarity and to know what you want to focus on. And then sometimes for me, I'm still in between. Sometimes I can get right to it. And sometimes I don't know how to get there. I know what I want to do, but how do I clear my life, my schedule, my mind, whatever it is to be able to do it? And that's still work through. But at least it feels really good to know what I want to do and to move towards it and to try. So I don't know if that's something like what you're saying. I feel like I'm getting better, but I'm still practicing the things that I am knowing.
And even if
that
you
makes sense.
find yourself in this in-between place and you're not quite sure what the next step is, you have developed skills that enable you to prioritize, and you've developed relationships that enable you to reach out for the assistance you probably need. People tell you like, oh, you'll understand when you're older, and some of that is crap, but because there's always going to be questions. You're always going to not understand things.
There's always chaos.
There's always chaos in the world. Like, it's 2025. Let's be honest. Like, we all want to disassociate sometimes. But like,
just pause on that for a quick sec. When you think about 2025, you think about what you would have thought of 2025 in high school. Doesn't it feel like the future? It's like, how is this here? We're gonna live probably to 2050.
Oh my word.
Doesn't that seem like Space Odyssey, like somewhere out there, Star Trek, Star Wars, something? So anyway, sorry about that. You were talking about dissociating. I totally interrupted you.
Yeah, no, but like, I mean, you might want to like escape from reality sometimes, but you have a skill set and you have the ability to get through a whole lot of terrible. Now that I can't imagine at 22.
Yes, that's right.
Being able to handle.
Even process or comprehend.
And that's a blessing for sure.
It is. It feels
I'm excited
good
about that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I have that same energy about growing older. I'm like, there's not a moment in my life that I think I want to go back to. It's like I'm excited about what is happening and what's coming. Also, sometimes in moments terrified. You can be both things.
For sure.
And this might be specific to me, but adjacent to what you're saying or connected to what you're saying. Sometimes, even if I don't have the full skill set developed yet to execute to the level I want to, just having that realization in that moment of knowing I want to do this thing, or I'd like to be doing this, or even if I'm cutting the thing I don't want to do, and just recognizing, oh, wait a second, this is that again. I don't want to do that. Feels good. It's like, oh, okay, I feel like this might be a funky way to see it from my counseling background, but my interior self or my child self or whatever version of the self is inside is like, okay, we're here together. I see you. Does that make sense? So it's like just knowing it, just seeing it is like a really good first step. And
you can give yourself the permission. Oh, I don't have to do that. Like, I don't need to do that. Like, that's performative and I don't need to do that. Like,
I've probably been saying for 10 years, I'm old. I don't have to do that anymore. Some people reject that when you're 35 or 36 and saying that or something. But I'm like, you know what? I feel it. I'm going to live into that. You can take them.
I have an employee who's 19 years old, and I love her. She's fantastic. But I look at some of the things that she is experiencing as a 19-year-old, and I was like, oh, my goodness, I would not in a million years go back and do that again.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm so thankful.
Bless you.
Yeah.
Where you are, all the energy,
so
all the care,
thankful.
all the love, all the prayers,
That is
all the
not my life.
everything. Like,
So thankful.
yeah.
Never again.
Yes.
I'm so thankful. I'm just going to go home and be tired.
I think having that attitude can make you available to support them,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
though, too. Even if it's
Yeah.
little things, like just knowing that
Mm-hmm.
people who are older can see it and love you and care for you.
Yeah.
That's great. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to jump onto the values question.
Okay.
If we're ready to. Unless I'm cutting you off, you can always
Nope, go
jump
ahead.
back to anything. I had trouble because I want to ask you all these questions. I said this, I think, in our text, but I really do. So maybe we'll have to do a part 2 sometime.
All right.
I thought would also be interesting is an episode where we had 3 different people interview with the same sort of questions and
That
see
would be
how the
fun.
dynamic changes.
Yeah, that
So
would
maybe
be
we'll have
interesting.
Brett or someone else or Steph come back and catch you for part 2 sometime as
Yeah.
well. Okay, this is about values. I think I wanted to ask you, I've been back and forth between 2. So if you really want to lean into one, that's fine. I'll read them both, but I think I'm leaning towards one. Has there been a value that shifted for you over time? That's always interesting because as human beings, we're dynamic. We're always growing. I mean, even last week to this week, there are things that are shifting. Like you said, even in the first question, realizing I don't have to do or lean into that thing anymore, or whatever it is. And then the second question was, is there a lesson from your upbringing or past that you still carry with you? And I think that's also super important as we're making room for new things. The things that we bring forward are roots, they are foundation, they are connected. I wouldn't have any of the access, even to the new ideas I have, without the foundation I was given. So I'm very, very grateful. So there's a gratitude in that too. So is one of those calling to more that one of those that you'd like to answer this morning? Or do you want me to pick?
I
one
think.
for you?
You can pick. Honestly, like they're both. I have an answer for both of them.
Go where you're going. It looked like you had
I think
something coming.
talking about like how values have shifted. Like one of them, like that one definitely speaks more to who I am today. I would say. I think I am much more concerned today with when it comes to dealing with other people. I am much more concerned today with loving and caring for people than
Yeah.
making sure people meet an arbitrary list of rules.
Yeah.
I would say, I mean, we grew up in Western Nebraska. I would say most of us were like fairly legalistic at some point.
Yeah.
That's how pretty much all of us were raised.
And it's a fine structure to come from.
Yeah,
You start
like,
with some sense of
well-meaning.
boundaries, and then you can
Yeah, very
discard the
well-meaning.
things that aren't as useful and
Yeah.
keep. Yeah.
Not malicious at all.
No.
Like I would not
Yeah.
say it was even remotely malicious, but as I've grown and as I've like matured, I have realized that the true way to demonstrate God's love to people is to love them better. And so that is something that has very much shifted as I have grown and as I have changed the way that I interact with people.
Yeah.
Is that I am very much more concerned with just demonstrating
Yeah.
love to people, making sure that people are cared for.
Right. Yeah.
Behavior is secondary. It does not matter to me very much at all.
I really
people
resonate
are.
with that. Yeah, I think I've always believed that about God. I've always held the sense that a primary value that as I understand God to be, is that He is love encompassing and forgiveness and kindness
Yeah.
and compassion, all of these qualities,
Yeah.
and that is strong. That's not weak. Like some versions of that can appear to be weak. That love could be weak, but it's not. It's ferocious and fierce and unrelenting. But I don't mean fierce in a way like anger.
Yeah.
There's a place for all these things, right? And how they come into being in the balance. But the overwhelming love and acceptance of God has always been a primary view I've had. And I think that was in the ethos that we absorbed.
Right.
There were other things in the ethos too. And so I feel what's grown in me is a permission to act from that heart of God,
Yeah.
that heart of Christ towards others, a permission to extend that when some of the rules that the structures we set up, which probably all had a purpose, they were all responding to something that was happening or some concern or some fear, whatever it is. Like, I appreciate that they came from a heart actually of good intention. Frankly, almost everyone in my world, I think most of in our combined worlds, so many people that were well-intentioned and come from good intention behind them, inherited good intention. And so, but some of those structures, maybe they became rules that were well-intentioned, but maybe more arbitrary, and they weren't that helpful.
Right.
And they didn't speak to that. And sometimes then as you grow in the clarity of what aligns with that heart of God, the love of God, and what doesn't, you can start to say, I give my permission to just love this person.
Yeah.
I don't have to speak.
Yeah.
I don't have to be judging. I don't have to be condemning. I don't have to whatever. They will encounter that in the world anyway.
Right.
I can be a voice of love, or I could be an action of love. So I don't know if that's something like what you're saying, but that's how it resonates with me. I totally agree with that. And that's one of the things that I love about growing older is giving myself permission to lean into that. Yeah. To go from there.
So have you ever read any of like Sky Jitani? So there's a series of books, What If Jesus Was Serious? Okay. We're going through right now, What If Jesus Was Serious About Justice? Like in a small group, your brother and sister-in-law.
I've heard a little bit about it from him.
Are in that study with me and another group of friends. But so he writes a lot about just the specific teachings of Jesus and how it applies today, like in our world. But just yesterday, actually, I read, he was talking about a neurological study that was done in, I think, 2013 about how the human brain works. And the default setting is self-interest, selfishness.
Yeah, sure. And self-preservation.
Self-preservation, structure.
And existence.
Empathy is not. Like care for others is not what our brain defaults to at all. But there is a portion of the brain, and I'm not going to remember the structure in the brain that does it, that can see other people. And,
prefrontal cortex.
Yeah, it's like absolutely. A very specific little structure. And it can overrule the rest of the brain, but it works slower. And so when you are rushed or when you are distracted, it is not going to do that unless you take time or you slow down, and then it can overrule the rest of your brain, or you practice enough that you strengthen, make it a habit, right? Absolutely. And so, like, I think again, like getting older, you've slowed down enough, you've thought through enough, you've made it a habit to really think about the lives of other people and what they need. Yeah. And once you can picture what other people are actually living through, they don't need judgment.
That is huge.
They need people to love them.
If you can pause long enough to see a person and their context and their experience, or even to imagine it, if you don't have access to see it, there's always story back there. There's always something that they're coming from. It's always speaking to. And Steph, who's in your group, my sister-in-law, often says, or has said in the past, I don't know if she says it a lot now. She's got babies on the mind right now, but she has often said that what another person says, like 90% of the time, it's about them. It's not about you. Yeah. And I think it's a really great operating rule in the back of your mind as you're seeing other people and trying to get to a place of empathy, is like when people are saying something that can feel hurtful or pointed at me, realize it's coming from something that they're trying to respond to in their lives. And I think you're right. The brain structures is super interesting to me. I'm from had a counseling background, was my most recent, and love the brain science and teaching that science to kids that I worked with in sort of a counseling setting. And it is absolutely true that our first response, it's all the input we get from our body, from our eyes, from all that, ears, what's happening in the situation around it. We are focused first on survival. Right. And a lot of people don't get to a place of safety where they can grow beyond that. And so having compassion for that.
Scarcity mindset.
Absolutely.
Is terrifying.
Or trying to survive your home, or whatever the things that are happening. And there's some kind of abuse or violence or all these things that are part of the human experience, unfortunately. That is all comes right up the brainstem to the amygdala. And so that's what we sometimes call the reptilian brain, where it's just reacting to fight, flight, freeze, fawn, those kinds of responses. It's just trying to survive. What will keep me safe in this place. And even if it's not physical, emotional, but it has to work its all the way through to the prefrontal cortex and the specific structures that are allowing us to, one, self-monitor, two, imagine others' experience, three, think of future things, what could be, what might be unfolding, all those kinds of things. But those can all be strengthened. I think that's a good thing to hear over and over. The more we practice them, in neural pathways, it just strengthens them. It's just a path, just like walking. If I walked from your house to mine all the time, which I do, unfortunately, it's not. It's not through. It's not through dirt like it would have been when we lived in the country.
Right.
You would see that over time. You see the cattle paths, you know. And I always, working in an ag community, always use that as an example to kids. Kids have that in their minds. They walk the same paths all the time through the fields, and they wear a rut. But we can do that both positively and negatively in our brains. That's how they work. We strengthen them, we exercise, and they just build those connections. But compassion, so literally compassion and love are muscles that you can... I mean, not literally muscles. They are literally structures that you can build through exercise and practice, just as we do muscles and other things that are familiar to us. So, good. I love this. I knew I'd enjoy the conversation. It's good to catch up with you. So I'm going to move on to quirks. And then we get into passions and interests. And then we'll wrap it up for the day, for the morning. So quirks. What's a quirk that actually helps you in your work or life?
I don't know if it's a quirk, but I would say, like, I am easily amused, very easily amused, and it is helpful. Like, like, whether it's just, like, the way that a word looks on paper or, like, a turn of phrase, like, I can laugh at pretty much anything. Like, a situation, I'm going to be amused by it. Like, somebody who's angry, like, I can get an angry phone call and just be, like, kind of, like, smirking throughout the entire thing because the situation, like, this guy just needs to yell at somebody. It's kind of funny. Like, I'm gonna just let this happen.
And you can create all kinds of scenes in your like mind as you're doing it.
I'm holding up a little, like, as this guy's yelling. You know what I mean? Like, it's most of the time I'm pretty easily amused, and so, like, I don't get overly worked up about things most of the time because it's funny. Which can be a bit of a detriment because people don't think I take things seriously, and I usually do. But I'm usually pretty amused. It's kind of fun.
It is kind of a superpower. It allows you to transform any. It's a trait of resilience, but it allows you to transform any circumstance, and it can have its detriment. It can be misread by people. I can also find myself sometimes with a similar trait, being like asking myself the question, "What's funny in this situation?" Going, actually, really nothing. So I gotta be present, rooted for a quick second, and then can jump back to that. But it is a gift in so many. Immediately as you're saying that, I'm imagining receiving a phone call. I imagine holding up, like, I receive a little puppet version of myself because they don't need me, and I'll just hold this in your spot for the moment. You can talk to the puppet. I'll come back, step back in, and we'll resolve this in a minute. But people need that kind of thing. It allows you to have those kinds of images where you can step outside the moment and not just be reacting to everything that's going on.
Sometimes people just need to be real mad.
They do.
Just let them.
That's right. That's part of the bless you, whatever version of that is. You can take what you need.
Out.
That's right. Better here than other places. I'm up for this today. And I often think of that when I come. I'm like, I'm up for this. I have the bandwidth for this. Your students in your class, your spouse, your kid, your dog may not be. So
I tell my employees all the time, I'm like, don't let people yell at, like, I get paid enough to get yelled at. You don't. Just have them call me. Like, this is fine.
I want to work for you.
Come on over.
I want to be a potato scientist. Is that something you can just do?
I just come on over and inspect potatoes.
Like this guy. He said that one was brown and had an extra eye. I'm having fun with it. He doesn't really know what's going on, but we'll keep him around. Okay, you ready for part 4?
Yep, let's do it.
Okay, passions and interests. You had 3 options here, so I'm like, again, I'm like, which one shall I do? I might have to do a flyover a couple things. I want to do this first, and then I maybe jump back to one if we have a minute. What's one way a passion of yours helps you recharge?
So one of my passions is writing.
Okay.
I love to write. And that is just a creative outlet. Like, I need to have a creative outlet. Like, clearly I work in science.
Yeah.
Heavily detail oriented. I've always had like a pretty good right left brain mix. And so in my work, pretty heavily left brained.
Yeah.
And I use a lot of creativity there too, but it is nice to just have a creative outlet and be able to just let those creative juices flow.
Right.
So that is a benefit to that particular passion.
So can you tell me more about what you're writing? What do you like to write?
So for the speech team, because I do coach part-time for the Gearing speech team, I am able to write some of the serious prose and help write some other things like some poetry. I've written some poetry, some little pieces here or there for some of the pieces that they perform.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the most recent things. Occasionally write some other poetry, some other short stories that I just kind of like have tucked away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
things
fun.
like that. Yeah.
Good. Do you have a rhythm do you have a time or a space set aside for it? Or does it kind of present itself because you've chosen to be a speech coach and be in that position that it presents itself to you with a deadline and a task?
Right.
Or
it's usually out of necessity.
Okay.
So like something arises, we need this particular type of monologue or this particular type of story written. And then that particular prompt like forces me to create. And so it's a challenge, which I enjoy. And then putting together all of the pieces that are necessary to create that is a lot of fun for me. Sometimes like I had to write a poem from the perspective of a narcissist. That was a trip. Like, I mean, weird
very
things
difficult.
like that. Like
it's like
weird challenges. Like things like that are kind of fun. For me.
Very fun.
Yeah.
And you've been involved in, I could have put in your intro, acting in some level throughout your whole life too. Plays and theater and that kind of thing as well. So there's some aspect of that is, I think, therapeutic and really fun and healing. And also just exhilarating to be able to take on different things and explore them without having to commit to them in your real life. I don't have to commit to being a narcissist, but like a moment of writing from that perspective is actually a very interesting task.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, theater itself is telling stories worth telling, and exploring emotion, exploring things without reality, right? You know, stepping out of your own life.
It's an alternate reality or a paradigm that you can step in and step out of.
And doing so well enough that the audience is also able to do that. And so, and then being able to help students also get into that space where they can do that as well.
Right.
Like that's really rewarding.
Yeah. I think that's really interesting because actually you haven't heard it yet, but the intro to this podcast, I talk about an acting class that I took that changed my life in college. And his philosophy, my professor Mark Lewis's philosophy, mirrors some of the things that you just said. But I think what's interesting about theater is it is a reality. You're creating a reality. That moment together with all of your performers on stage, whoever you're working with, that's a very real thing. It's transforming us. It's a real dynamic experience that we're having. And the audience is a part of that. So whoever's witnessing that, this is a moment that we're sharing in our life that is very, very real. And yet it's also like removed from the roles and our histories and all of these things as we're exploring something different. So it is sort of Marvel multiverse parallel universe where we get to step in together and create something, and we're going to step back out of it, but we get to move in out of these pocket universes, if you will. And it can be lighthearted and fun and ridiculous, and it can be deep, and it's going to be all those things at the same time, probably. And so that's really an interesting thing to see. And
I love how sometimes I love how it's able to explore things that are very deep. You can touch on issues that you couldn't have a casual conversation about because it's art and because it's removed. We're able to explore these very difficult topics,
and
get the audience to think about things that you wouldn't get them to think about otherwise. And it's a little bit more non-threatening because it's just art on a page, right?
Yep.
Like it's just something you're viewing.
We're going to step away.
Yeah.
We're going to clap at the end.
But you've made them think about something
Yeah.
that they wouldn't have otherwise. And that's powerful. Like art is incredibly powerful because of that.
Absolutely.
One of my other passions, sci-fi, does the exact same thing. Science
Absolutely.
fiction is so good at that because it's futuristic, but they're always like Star Trek is very good at this. Like episodes of Star Trek would take current events and write them into these futuristic scenes, and make people think about things that were happening in the world around them and deal with issues in a way that they wouldn't deal with them otherwise. It's really cool.
It is very cool.
Art is cool.
It is cool.
I love it.
Yeah. Just thinking about what you said and the last couple of thoughts, I want to jump back to one other thing you said earlier, if I can remember.
Yep.
Hold it there. But riffing off of what you're saying right now, I think what is really unique about art, and we're talking about theater specifically at the moment, is you do afford people a chance to interact with these ideas.
Yeah.
And they're ideas that they didn't choose. They didn't come to necessarily, or they did a little bit.
Yeah.
There's this interesting balance of agreements and something else. It's non-threatening because they don't have to stand up and say what they think. No one's looking to them right away. You can react, but you're sort of in the shadows if you're an audience member. So you can laugh, you can cry, you can clap, you can do whatever. You can be upset, but it's in a like private space without people requiring something of you right away. And we do have agreements around it. We agree that you've come, we have a time, we're going to give an audience to the people who have put this effort or whatever into it. We're going to clap at the end. We're going to appreciate the effort into presenting that. So it's an interesting sort of experiment because you have really complex ideas and literal and abstract representations of them. But at the same time, there's these agreements, and there's this part of the agreement is you don't have to stand up and tell us what you thought immediately.
Right.
You can share whatever and have whatever private thoughts you had about them. We'll share some publicly. We have some formal ways to do that are kind of non-committal, and then you can take it with you.
Yeah.
And see what you thought about it. So
Keep thinking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it.
The sci-fi, you jumped to the other question I was going to ask you. So I just wanted to jump back to the creative process and think about, maybe it's because I told you the other podcast that we're working on right now where we have a lot of dialogue about creativity, but it's really interesting how people come to it. And for a lot of my life, I've had a creative energy that it needed a focus, but I haven't been good at creating structures for myself to be able to do that.
Yeah.
I've been doing responsibility, and I haven't created the spaces for it. However, one of the things I appreciate about what you are doing in terms of giving yourself creative space, some people are good at I get up and I write for 30 minutes every day. This is a David Sedaris thing. And I've always had that exact same expression where I'm like, I can't, or how do you do that, or whatever the thing is. I'm actually experimenting with some of these things for the first time in the season because I'm switching things around. And guess what? I just finished writing a novel, a fantasy novel. So I'm working on it. It's a complete manuscript. It's still in work, but I actually did it. And that feels exciting.
Love that.
But what I appreciate about what you're doing is it's a value for you. There's other ways to accomplish that same thing. Put yourself in a position where someone's going to depend on you for a deadline, you know what I'm saying, where you have to work with kids, inspire their creativity, be creative in the process, write when they need something written, and it's going to hand you back the deadline. It's sort of a way of building that accountability to that thing in your own life.
Right.
And that's a wonderful way to do it too. So, I mean, no, I used to have guilt about I'm not doing it the way an artist would do it.
There's no rules.
Right. There's
There are no rules.
Again, there's no rules. And that's a fantastic way to do it because it's going to keep you accountable to that thing that's also a part of your life.
It's another good thing about getting older is realizing very few things have rules.
That's right.
Like, there are no rules.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just do the thing.
Well, we've gotten through 4 things. We did it. We got through the end.
Yay.
I don't want to co-opt your whole day, but I really do appreciate you coming. Thanks for having a
So
conversation with me. I'd love to further that. Somewhere in the ethos, if there's a time and a space where we get to co-write on something, I think that'd be very fun to do together. So figure that out. But in the meantime, thanks so much for taking time and coming
It's a lot of
in.
fun. Thanks.
Good. Thank you.
What do you bring?